Hi, and welcome to another episode of How To Vids. This week, how to be an American Muslim. Tip number 1, don't be creative. Don't be like the clock boy and bring something with wires or cords sticking out in the public places.
You're just gonna upset people.
Tip number 2, just step out of line. Don't make a huge thing out of it. If you don't want to be pulled out of line, then don't dress like that. Tip number 3, don't go to these states. By order of the governors, you're not welcome in this state, this state, this state, this state, this state, these states, or this state.
Tip number 4.
Don't. The best way to be an American Muslim is not to.
Take, for example, Syrian immigrants. Can they find another?
One, two, three, five!
Hi, meet
Dalia Mogahed.
Dalia Mogahed. Dalia Mogahed.
Please welcome Dalia Mogahed.
She's the Director of Research at the Institute for Social Policy and Understanding in Washington, D.C., the CEO of Mogahed Consulting, and an advisor to President Obama. And she'd like you to know, the American Muslim community wants to be a group of citizens, not a pool of suspects. Which basically means they just want respect. And that sounds like a reasonable request. Well, to some. Remember Ahmed Mohammed, the high school freshman known as Clockboy who was wrongfully accused by one of his teachers of having a bomb in school? Later, he met President Obama. He triumphantly returned to his community in Texas, ready to see a changed and more tolerant place. Only to find armed militants to be stopping Muslims from entering his mosque and death threats at his door. This type of treatment got so bad that it caused Ahmed and his family to move away to Qatar. An American citizen being driven from the country? That doesn't sound like a respected community or American. When Donald Trump, the leading candidate in the GOP polls, was confronted with the idea of electronically tracking Muslims, he said,
"Oh, I would certainly implement that."
Remember those governors who don't want Muslims in their states? They've also said they don't want to let Muslims in the country altogether. People who have left their homes because they couldn't go 30 minutes without being bombed traveled all the way to America just to find out that the American dream is dead. This isn't a problem that will just go away. Anti-Muslim hate crimes are still 5 times more common today than before 9/11. These crimes break most of the principles on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is where Dalia Mogahed comes in. She believes the problem can be solved by understanding and information.
There's a lot of misunderstanding.
For example, according to the FBI, 94% of terrorist attacks in the US have been by non-Muslims. And the majority of mass shooters in the US have been white. However,
people shout out. I'm not saying all Muslims are terrorists, but all terrorists are Muslims.
Right.
How do you respond to that?
My response is all of them except the vast majority who are not.
if they just understood these facts, they wouldn't be so prejudiced. Another ridiculous thing is how Muslims are assumed to be with ISIS or support them unless they say otherwise. After the Paris terror attacks, many Muslims took to social media to send out the message, "Not in my name," which is great, until you realize.
The killing of civilians is, to me, about the most monstrous thing you can do. And to be suspected of doing something so monstrous simply because of your faith seems very unfair.
They shouldn't be required to show their religion isn't one of hate. There's no special rules for them. There's no how to being an American Muslim. You just are. And it's at moments like these, when to be Muslim you have to overcome physical threats, that people like Dalia Mogahed matter the most. Because without them to show everyone else what to aspire to be, without them to stand up to hate, without them to protect the people who can't protect themselves, the world wouldn't be the same. When the tired, the poor, the huddled masses come looking for America, let's give them something to find.